Okay, my friends, I came across this. It's called Wonder Theory. Now, CNN is the one that's putting this out. I get all people, oh, you can't trust CNN. Forget about that stuff, please. I could trust anybody if they come across with evidence. No evidence, no trust. Case closed. Don't start with that stuff. If they show no evidence, you say there's no evidence here. Give them a chance. Give me a chance. So anyway, I signed up for this. That's Roger at mudfossilswithanus.com. I'm going to subscribe. And this is for Explore the Universe and news and fascinating new discoveries, scientific advancements, and more with CNN's science newsletter. Wonder Theory. And they give you emails right to this email every week. I would like to be part of this. I have so much to contribute and have so few that are willing to talk. It's very, very discouraging after minimum 10 years having the solid core evidence that it still can be avoided. And then hopefully these CNN will find out how credible they are. If they won't pay attention to me, then I go with you, not credible. If they respond, well, I go with at least they've made an attempt to respond. They may discredit me. I may be a total nut job. But nobody's going to know because nobody will allow me to speak. So if they want to, I wonder if my theory will make it to their newsletters. Okay, they're making reference to spotted and unspotted dolerite. This is spotted dolerite, which is the fleshy part inside the fascia, which is the skin. Now, where this was and what it was, I'm not sure. It could even have been, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'm not going to make any claims. But it was obviously a body part, and it's totally surrounded by fascia. So it was, whatever it was a bone, or, because it does have the appearance of a bone in here. And it might even add two bones. There might be one here and one here. I have no idea at this point. I can tell you what, that's blood, and I've shown it or will. And this is the fascia, and this is the spotted dolerite that he's talking about. These spots. You see these spots? That's what he's talking about right now, spotted dolerite. The reason I'm bringing up the spotted and unspotted dolerite is just two different types of body tissue. One of them has, the spotting is fibrous tissues, heavy, dense connective tissue, I believe. Now, the other one is more of a fleshy tissue. But they're using it to say, oh, this came from such and such an area. Let them talk for a second. Here goes.
That maybe none of the stones that Wayne known actually went to Stonehenge at all. Even if some of them did, because it was an incomplete circle and only about a dozen stones were ever removed, it could not have been many in the first place. Next slide. Now, of course, the journey is quite extraordinary, and you can take your choice. Did they go by land or by sea?
All right, I'm going to cut it off here because they didn't. The guy died here. This was his body. Another guy died over here. Another guy died wherever. And I think there's one, the Cardiff giant, too, that they call. No, there was a Cardiff giant, but it's Cardiff, New York. And it was only 10 feet tall. That's a puppy. All right, check this out. This is a lung. We're going to look at it very closely in a second. This is the flap at the bottom, which is just like this little latch right here that I call a spurlock. It latches in body parts to other body parts, so it keeps your lung from bopping around in your body. Now let's look at what the lung looks like, and this is one, well, I have two of them here actually. This one here has all of its pleura still on there, and it's very, very dense. All right, you see how dense that is? You see how much fabric, and because your lung has to open up and collapse, you know, a couple times a minute. And here's a little flap on the end. Now, the other one is completely eroded away. All the pleura on the outside, this fabric is gone. Now we're inside where the alveoli is. This one here is still has all the pleura on the outside. Now, what can we see here? Well, we can see the same flap. Here it is right here, but all the fascia is eroded away from it. But this would have locked it in to somewhere down below. These are all the little alveoli holes. Now, why is this one quartz? Because this is silicon dioxide quartz. These were originally holes. And that's what your air comes in to these holes. And all the fabric around it is a little bit fleshy, and it allows absorption of the oxygen into your lungs. Well, this was in such wet, heavy duty, I don't know, it might have had salts, acids, I don't know. But whatever it was, it ate away at that fabric until it got inside, and then once it got inside, the contents of the blood just runs out. Now this appears to be like it was, maybe this is where the red blood comes in, and I don't know. Or this was buried in the mud and this wasn't. So, I really don't know, to be perfectly honest with you, but it is primarily quartz. Even up here, this is quartz, but there was a lot of little blood ran out of it. And I mean, it actually ran out. You see it here? It actually came out in little blobs. So there's a lot to think about and discuss and wonder, how did that happen versus that? Well, I sort of understand it now, but I've been a long time doing this. And it needs a lot more examination. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Our past is way, way different than we were told. Check this out. I believe this is one of the vein clamps. These little dots are blood cells. You see them? These are all the blood cells coming back through this orifice. And this little pincher, the blood cannot go backwards. It pinches this together. If it tries to go backwards, it can only come one direction. I don't know what direction we're working with, but I can see pretty much this is sucking blood back up, and it's probably this is an entrance here, and it also has a clamp so that it can't go back that way and it only can come this way. I believe that's what we're looking at. Now, I made this. This is just exactly like feldspar, and if when it dried out, it would be identical to feldspar, and it did, and it is identical to feldspar. I don't know whatever it did with it, to be perfectly honest. As a matter of fact, maybe I do have it. If I can find it, I'll do a little microscopic of it, because this was 5-6 years ago. And what I did was I took chicken tissue, and I put it in sandy, muddy sort of stuff, a little bit of extra salt, and I put it in a watery condition with a little bit of electricity running through it. Because in the earth you have what they're called telluric currents, which is a tiny little bit of electricity feeding into the earth from the electrons it's absorbing. And that's what I did with this, with very, very, very limited. And this was the result. I think this was maybe 3 months, 6 months afterwards. And you can see it's starting to form silicates here and there. And that's what happens to feldspar. It's aluminum silicates. Now, I didn't put any aluminum in there. Now, maybe I should have. Maybe, I don't know where the aluminum would have come from. Because all I used was extremities. Now, that excludes organs. That's what I probably should have done, put in the organ meat. All right, I found a piece of chicken stuff. There's a piece right there. Now, I got it in a microscope, and here's what it looks like, a little exploded. Now, I think I took that right out after I saw I was getting crystals forming and stuff, and I said, well, I take it right out. And so it didn't stay in for an extended period of time like it would have on the flood. So what happened was this turned almost like leathery. There's a lot of connective tissue, but still a lot of blood, red and black blood, and some kind of fabricy chicken skin. But this is what happened, because I could see, hold on, let me see if I can get a little different perspective of that. I want to see a little bit lower there. Alright, that's, and there's an abrupt transition too. Anyway, I could see it when it was in its formation, and I could see all the things that I wanted to see, because you see over here, watch, over to the right. Hold on a second. These are other shots from different other specimens. All right, they're all completely different than that one I just showed you. These at Stonehenge, if you go out there, look for these little. These will be in the grip skin. You'll see these little strips like that. That's in the grip skin. And this is a long. That's, I don't even know what. Hold on, let me come down here. That's, I don't know. That's some gold. Whatever that is. That's a selenite, or maybe quartz. But it's all biology. It's absolutely all biology. You see that? That's all blood. You see that? All these little dots? That's the interstitium. That's interstitium balls. They're that small, but still big. Unless you can't see those. You wouldn't see that in this microscope. This is because it's from a giant, and it's got bigger balls. See, this is that spotted dolomite they're talking about. I believe this is connective tissue that's within some meat matrix. Alright, this is a really good shot. Out here is literally the skin or the interstitium surrounding an organ. I'm not sure what this is, to be perfectly honest with you. But this is that layer that surrounds it, like the rubber bag, and it could be skin, I don't know. But right below is the interstitium. It's this red gooey area in between the exposure to whatever it is. It could be inside you and the inside of your guts, or it could be outside of you and it's your skin. But beyond that is the flesh and the stuff that does the work in your body. This is the protective layer, and that's, I'm going to call this the immunothelium, because right in there lives your immune system. You get past that, you're in trouble. Then you really got to fight back against it. But before it gets in that far, this stuff in here, the bacteria live and should kill it. I'm pretty sure these are fingerprints, and that's the rubbery layer of grip skin. Alright, I got another one down here, hold on. That's that one, that's that again. I think that's all fingerprints. And that's where some blood leaked out and left some metals. Because where blood leaks out, you can get a lot of metals collecting. You see all that? All these different colors are different metals. It's pretty incredible when you start looking at what really is. It's just laying around on the surface. And then you try to figure out how the hell that stuff happened. Well, I can tell you what happened there. That's a vein, black blood, and that's an artery. Arteries drain out. It's not too hard to understand once you know what you're looking for. There's that, I believe that's, no, that's a different one, but I think it's another one of those clamp off areas. Where do you see this? Hold on, remember this. Look at this thing. What the hell is that? That's growing out of a blood supply. I don't know what it is. And this was in that same area I was looking at it. Look at that thing growing out of there, man. This is a different one. There was a bunch of these little spots. That's grip skin. When you see those little flakes, that's right in the grip skin area. But all of this different chemistry is from blood and so forth. This, whenever you see this banded like that, black and white, black and white, black and white, this is going to be a heart. And one of these is the chambers of the heart, and the other side is the other chamber. I have a lot of hearts. Hearts preserve very well. I think this has got a lot of gold and, you know, different type. Blood, like I say, where it drains in certain places, you get a really high concentration of metals. Like right there. And right there. These are metals. A lot of metals there, too. Anytime you see red and black, you know you got iron oxides. Oh, I remember this. This was a chicken bone. And this was put in, I think I might have had a little copper in with this. I can't really, I gotta be honest with you, I don't remember now. But it is obviously transformed. Now, I can't remember whether I use electricity. There's a lot of experimenting to do. All right, now this right here, this is a fingertip. This is a tiny little fingertip. And it's exuded blood right at the end of it, which turned into crystals. But these are the grip skin fibers that are in this little fingertip. You see that? Those are the little grippy spots. I'll show you that fingertip because this one here, this was really cool. Hold on. All right, this is a fingertip. And this, you can actually see the apical tuft right here. You see the little dots? That's that apical tuft. It sits right at the tip of your fingertip, so all your finger can do all that stuff. Now, let's look at this a little. I'm going to move it around a little bit. All right, this is the bottom of the fingertip. Now, watch this. You see all that red, crystally looking stuff? Give it a second, it has to settle down, settle down, settle down. Now, what are we looking at? This is that grip skin fibery stuff. Remember I showed you the grip skin, those little flaky looking things? This is congealed blood. When it died, this side that we're looking at right now was down. The blood ran out the end of the fingertip, which they do, I showed you from the arteries, they're open, and it congealed under here. But at the very tip, it created some crystals. You see the crystals? That's right at the very tip. That's right where the artery blows out. And it's just blood. It's just blood. Now, coming down, we can see this is the top of the fingertip. And the other side is eroded away. This is the side that was down. So some of it sort of eroded away into those fibers. Now, look at those fibers. Isn't that cool? That makes your grip skin tough as hell. And this just congealed like a big scab underneath. And I can see the vein and artery in the back here when I look at it correctly in the right way. You can see everything's quite obvious once you know what to look for. And that's a fingertip. You see down here the vein and the artery in the vein? And then right up here is going to be where the apical tuft is, up in this area here. You see it? It's right there. I've been looking at these things for years and years and years, my friends. And I've got a pretty good handle on it now. Alright, so the question is CNN really interested in science, or are they just interested in getting people to come and watch what they're forced to repeat by geologists and biologists and space researchers? I want discussion. I want a forum. I want a place to present evidence, because I have evidence, not just theories.